Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated, and do I have an explosive episode planned for you today. If you've been living under a rock, then you haven't heard about the ESPN published article that was authored by or co-authored by Brian Windhorst and Ramona Shelbourne. It dropped on ESPN.com yesterday, and it has been making its way around the independent media space and also the mainstream media space, just kind of snippets of the actual article and the information that was shared therein. It is pertaining to one LeBron James and his future and present situation, kind of give some insights into what's going on behind the scenes with LeBron James, with his future, and how it looks outlook wise with the LA Lakers. And man, I'm telling you, the information is mind blowing. It's a lot to unpack. So I'm going to dig into that entire article here. I don't want to just get into kind of snippets of it. I'm going to dig through the article carefully with you right here on screen. And then I'm going to share my insights and opinions as well. But before we dive deeply into this content, do me a huge favor. Like the video. Liking the video helps us cruise along Algorithm Avenue. Helps us get into the presence of individuals just like yourself who might be looking for this kind of content. Also, subscribe to the channel. Subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell helps you stay in the loop as to when my newest episodes are uploaded. Man, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I am entitling today's episode Breaking LA Lakers Waving LeByeBye. Bro. So again, this information, when shared on yesterday, I was kind of just going through my normal, channels on YouTube here, and just kind of, taking in some content from the mainstream media and also independent media spaces. And I was hearing murmurings of this ESPN article, and I was like, what? I wasn't really keyed into, what they were saying, because it was kind of playing as like background noise. And after watching an episode of The Odd Couple, shout out to Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington, I was like, man, you know what? Let me go find this article for myself and read through this article. And so I did that. And in doing so, I was like, wow, bro, this is crazy. And so again, in this episode, I will more than likely, if you've seen my previous episode, you saw me talking about how, the statements made by Rich Paul a few weeks ago about LeBron wanting to compete for a championship and, or on the heels rather of him actually opting into the final year of his signed contract with the LA Lakers for $52.6 million. And how I just kind of blew up on LeBron and exploded on him. And I was like, the behavior is contradictory of a person who actually wants to compete and who understands the difficulty of building in the present and for the future. You didn't necessarily exercise the best behavior through action to show that your words are valid. And I just dragged LeBron. And so in this video, I'm going to apologize to LeBron, because the information that I'm about to share is going to validate how, or the necessity rather, of why I need to apologize to LeBron for jumping down his throat about the foolery that I perceive to be him opting into that contract, so contradicting himself. But again, breaking news, LA Lakers waving LeByeBye. And man, I'm going to dig into this article. The article itself, again, was published on ESPN just yesterday, so Friday, July the 11th. This article was published. LeBron James to Luka Doncic, inside the most delicate superstar transition in NBA history. Again, the Article was published on ESPN.com. It is authored by both Brian Windhorst, NBA insider, reporter, journalist, and also Ramona Shelbourne, who is likewise journalist, NBA insider, reporter. And between the two of them, they are a trusted source for information. They clearly have had their faces out there for many, many, many years in the NBA space, ESPN especially, sharing their insights and sharing information that they've scooped through relationships and contacts. So this article is it's very credible. It is very credible in terms of the information, obviously, that is about to be shared. Without further ado, let's dive right in. There are two entrances to Craig's restaurant on Melrose Avenue in West Hollywood section of Los Angeles. Those who don't mind being seen by the gaggle of paparazzi that mill about outside the notorious celebrity hangout enter through the front door. Those who don't want to be seen through the private entrance, who want to be seen, enter through the private entrance at the back. Once a celebrity is safely inside, the tinted windows and dim lights offer the kind of privacy where real business can be discussed over very expensive, very good bottles of wine and elevated comfort foods like pigs in a blanket or honey truffle chicken. May 3rd, 4 days after the Los Angeles Lakers were eliminated in the first round of the playoffs by the Minnesota Timberwolves, Craig's reserved a booth for 4 VIPs. The Lakers' new superstar point guard, Luka Doncic, his longtime manager, Laura Beth Seeger, Lakers general manager Rob Pelinka, and coach JJ Redick. LeBron James. The centerpiece of every Lakers decision and strategy for the previous 7+ years was not in attendance. Redick, Pelinka, and Seeger entered through the front entrance, Doncic through the back. But all 4 exited through the front door, where a crowd of paparazzi and fans spotted them and took videos that were immediately uploaded to TMZ and social media. Doncic even stopped to sign a few autographs before leaving. The purpose of the meeting was as clear as their choice of door. Doncic is the face of the franchise now, and the Lakers wanted him and everyone else to know it. Bro, first of all, right there, bro. A meeting between GM of the LA Lakers, Rob Pelinka, a meeting that, had the coach of the LA Lakers present in JJ Redick, Luka Doncic, and his representation, Laura Beth Seeger, his agent. The 3 of them entered through the front door, and the superstar of the Lakers, new superstar of the Lakers, Luka Doncic, entered through the back door as not to allow the paparazzi or let the paparazzi know or tip them off to the fact that he was present on the inside of this restaurant. But then they decide all to leave out the front door as a slap in the face to LeBron. And like, yo, we had a meeting and you weren't included. Almost like a nanny boo-boo. That's crazy. Now, I do want to say, having a meeting without LeBron James is not false information because the article just stated as much. But for all we know, LeBron could have been on speakerphone or on video chat during this meeting. Could have been. I don't know. We weren't present on the inside. But I'm just talking about the appearance of parading Luka Doncic out in front of paparazzi with the coach, with the GM, and his agent. It's just the optics, I'm saying, that are like, wow. You understand? Wow. Moving back into the article, over a bottle of Opus 1, Pelinka and Redick explain not only their strategy in building the team around Doncic's skill set, sources told ESPN, but also the complexities of the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement and how they plan to navigate them. Hold the bus. So look, hold the phone, as they would say, right? Hold on for a second. I just went through all of this like, bro, wow. They had the meeting. They did so without LeBron. LeBron could have been on speakerphone or on video chat during this meeting. Or he could have just joined the meeting virtually, right? And then that next paragraph comes into play. And the paragraph, again, over a bottle of Opus One. That's very specific. Over a bottle of Opus One. Okay. We weren't at the meeting. Meeting was at this restaurant. Was Windhorst or was Shelbourne present at this meeting? Because to know what bottle of wine they're drinking is very specific. It's information they could have scooped from somebody else. Could have been like, yo, y'all saw them there? What were they drinking? I need details, like what they ate, what they drank, etc. That's possible. That's just very specific. Opus One. But a little step further than that, Pelinka and Redick explained not only their strategy in building the team around Doncic's skill set, sources told ESPN, but also the complexities of the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement and how they plan to navigate them. JJ Redick and Pelinka did ... sources tell ESPN. Man, somebody was present at that meeting other than Luka Doncic, other than Larbet Seeger, other than JJ Redick. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else was present at this meeting. That's very specific information to be given out. Sources. So who was the source? The source is the other person that was present at this meeting. It gets thicker. That exquisite bottle of wine might have helped Doncic digest Pelinka's explanation of arcane topics such as the second apron, the value of preserving salary cap space to help acquire an age-appropriate star alongside of him, and what remained of the Lakers' draft assets. Pelinka had made it a working dinner, toting in a thick binder. That binder, with those off-season Lakers plans and longer-range strategies and dreams, used to be presented to James at meetings like these. On the agenda, the concepts of chasing players the team eventually landed, such as Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, and those they ultimately didn't. Age-appropriate star, man, these meetings used to contain, or used to, you know what I mean, like be held specifically for LeBron. All jabs at LeBron. It feels like these sources, being Shelbourne and Brian Windhorst, are doing the same thing to LeBron that LeBron has attempted to do through Rich Paul. They are taking jabs at each other here now in the media. They're taking jabs at each other now here in the media. They're using the media outlets to do so. This is getting real cat fight, girl fight-ish. Pelinka has talked often to Doncic and Seeger in the 3.5 months since he acquired the young star from the Dallas Mavericks in one of the most shocking trades in NBA history. Pelinka met Doncic when he was getting off a private jet late on a Sunday in February, hours after the stunning trade, and later that week consulted him before making a later rescinded trade for Mark Williams, one of the centers Doncic had asked to play alongside. So clearly, the Lakers have made an attempt to build a relationship with Luka Doncic since Luka Doncic got there, to make sure that he was comfortable, to make sure that he understood, like, hey, man, you're welcome here. We wanted you here specifically. We're happy about having you here. In fact, we're so happy about having you here that we want to build the kind of team around you that, you know what I mean? Like you had success with in Dallas, and like the kind of players that you need around you. We're gonna exhaust all possibilities to do so. And this started from the moment 3.5 months ago that Luka arrived in LA, because as I said, Rob went and met him at the airport on the, after the private jet had been chartered. Luka made it safely into Los Angeles. Interestingly enough, it says again, when the acquisition of center, then Mark Williams, who was a member of the Charlotte Hornets at the time, who is now a Phoenix Sun, when that trade was initiated, the acquisition was initiated, but unfortunately it kind of fell through. I don't know who Mark Williams' representation is, but I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, who DeAndre Ayton's representation is. DeAndre Ayton is represented by Laura Beth Seeger, Luka Doncic's agent. So this communication and this relationship building looks very good. I feel like there is another layer to Anthony Davis being in Dallas right now, and Luka, especially with Luka being in LA. I'm going to share that as we get a little deeper into this article and some other information to share, man. But I had an epiphany last night that was like, wow, bro, this is fucking crazy. So it gets crazier. This is not it. This is not all. Moving right along into the article. But there wasn't much time for relationship building in the middle of the season, and the Lakers are keenly aware, as is the rest of the league, that Doncic has a monumental decision to make starting August 2nd when he's eligible to sign an extension with the team. No matter what the Lakers did at their center position, they signed DeAndre Ayton to be their starter, or how they added depth to the wing, landing Jake LaRavia. Far and away, the most important piece of off-season business for the Lakers is getting a commitment from Doncic. No freaking question. Most important decision of the offseason. Moving right along. The prize star can opt to be a free agent next summer under his current deal, and that's an uncomfortable position for any franchise to be in. It's one the Lakers would like to avoid by getting Doncic to accept a new deal. Doncic can add 4 more years and $223 million, and the Lakers will surely offer exactly that, but he might prefer a 3-year, $160 million deal instead because it sets up better for future contracts. The Lakers will gladly accept either, though they might have to be patient. Doncic is playing for the Slovenian national team this summer in high-intensity Eurobasket, which runs through mid-September, and his NBA contract business might wait until then. Okay, so Luka is eligible to sign an extension starting first week of August. Specific date they didn't list here. I've heard it a couple times, but I can't remember. I think it's like something like August 3rd or something like that. Don't quote me on it. But the details here I feel like are really good to note and to reiterate. Luka can sign a 4-year, $223 million contract with the LA Lakers if he desires to, which would lock him in clearly for the Lakers, give them a breath, a pause to have a sigh of relief. And then they know that they, have that number of years that Luka's on contract to put pieces around him that will help them contend for a championship successfully as a franchise. Or Luka can opt to take a 3-year, $160 million contract instead. Technically, the money breaks down to be about a few million more on the 4-year side of things, a couple million less on the $3 million side of things, but it allows him flexibility taking a 3-year deal if he decides to re-sign with the Lakers at all. It gives him flexibility in 3 to set himself up to sign a bigger contract after the 3 years have concluded. When the Dallas Mavericks traded Luka to the Lakers, because of Luka's time on the team with Dallas and having been drafted by Dallas, the amount of years that he has spent with the franchise, Luka was eligible for a supermax contract. These astronomical contracts that we've heard Jason Tatum sign here in recent last year was Jaylen Brown did the same thing. I mean, there's $350 million, $360 million contracts, crazy, ridiculous contracts are supermax contracts that players are eligible for when they are with the team that drafted them, etc. Conditions of length with the team, time, with the team have been satisfied, etc. And Dallas, by trading Luka away from their franchise and over to the Lakers, cut Luka out of that supermax money. Clearly, this is what these players do for a living. The money is important. I understand that. And so with that, I'm saying, I think Luka and his representation really want to recoup as much money or secure as much money as they can to have Luka do what he's going to do anyway. Doesn't matter if he's in a Laker uniform. Doesn't matter if he's in a Wizards uniform. Luka Doncic is going to be Luka Doncic on the basketball court. I think he wants to get paid max dollar to do that. And so what I perceive of this, that's just outside looking in. And just in summation to the information that's shared about the contracts they're in, I think that if Luka Doncic re-signs with the Lakers at all, it'll probably be the shorter deal that gives him the flexibility to get more money, or potentially skate out of LA a season sooner. Should things, not happen to be going well, but clearly there will be a market for Luka. Luka's only 26 years old, so there will be a market for Luka for a number of seasons before he exits his prime, the prime of his career. And so, digging back into the article, this is not the kind of topic you talk about over dinner at Craig's in May. However, no, at that dinner, plans are made to visit Doncic in Europe late this summer. Very specific information being given there. Nah, at this meeting, plans were made to visit Doncic late in the summer. That's very specific information for a person to have. Like, where'd you get that information? Sources told you again? Or were you present? Players he would like to team up with are discussed. The team style of play and organizational culture are examined. Behind the tinted windows, the leaders of the Lakers' organization sent a message to the star they hope will lead them. This is what life in LA can be like if he elects to stay and be the next face of the franchise. Message received loud and clear. That message has been received warmly. The Lakers leadership team has been incredibly welcoming and supportive of Luka since we arrived in LA, Seager told ESPN. We've spent a lot of time talking and getting to know each other over the last few months, and we formed a strong working relationship. Championships are won when you work together. We all share that same goal. Seager could have been the one that gave up some of that information that I'm talking about, like, the specific bottle of wine they were drinking, what Rob Pelinka and, JJ attempted to do in terms of their strategy, in terms of talking about the cap, you know what I mean? Like, and what their plans were for Luka. Well, Seager could very well, Laura Beth could very well have been the one who shared that information, but that sounds like insider information for an agent to be sharing when she should be discussing this and keeping that in the house with her client. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't think that came from the agent. I could be wrong. Or either Ramona Shelbourne or Brian Windhorst were also likewise at this meeting, man. Back to the article. As the party exited out the front door, the franchise unofficially made that message public. It is ready to usher in the Luka Doncic era in Los Angeles, even if that means sunsetting the LeBron James one. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. Speak about sunsetting the LeBron James one. This situation actually, the situation is laughable. This situation is like kind of, like awe-inspiring. And this situation is also kind of funny in a karmic, you know what I mean, like sense of humor kind of a way, because LeBron James is literally getting a taste of his own medicine. LeBron James is finally, after all these years, getting a taste of his own medicine. Man, it ain't no fun when a rabbit got the gun. And right now, man, they are firing shots at the dinosaur. Back to the article. Less than 2 months after that dinner meeting with Doncic, another important but quite different statement was made by the man who was not involved that night, the emeritus face of the franchise. It came via Rich Paul, James's longtime agent and confidant. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage of his life and career, Paul said in a statement to ESPN's Shams Charania ahead of James's decision to pick up the final year and $52.6 million player option on his contract on June 30th. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. The statement immediately sent the NBA world into a tizzy, though it came with the news of James picking up the $52.6 million player option, contractually tying him to the Lakers for the 2025-2026. It read like a goodbye letter. It suggested a larger plan or strategy was afoot. The gigantic trade that had landed Doncic in Los Angeles had formed sudden new realities, one of which was James eventually becoming an expiring contract for the first time in his 23-year career. It was the strongest sign yet that the end of his Lakers tenure was near. Bro. LeBron James is entering his 23rd, record-breaking 23rd season in the NBA. Entering into that in the 2025-2026 season. He locked himself into that $52.6 million for this season. But bear in mind, LeBron James also likewise has a no trade clause in his contract. So he cannot just be traded from that team. Keep in mind also, as I talked about the Supermax, etc., LeBron James is wholly signed under a Supermax deal for that $52.6 million. That is a lot of money to give to a soon to be 41-year-old basketball player. That's a lot of money to give to somebody at 41 years old. And so these are just very important factors that I wanted to highlight as we move along here with the information that was just shared. Executives around the league scurried to decode it. One Eastern Conference executive was convinced James wanted out of LA. A handful of teams, including the Golden State Warriors, who tried to trade for James in 2023-24, considered again whether to make an offer, sources said. Whether to make an offer, sources said. Golden State. Interesting. Golden State's name is continually thrown out there as it pertains to the James family. I call bullshit. I call utter and complete bullshit. Bullshit. I don't believe it. I do not believe it. I know that LeBron James has expressed interest in going to Golden State. I know that LeBron James would love the idea of playing with Steph Curry, teaming up with Steph Curry, especially here at the end of his career. But I don't think there's a market for LeBron James with that $52.6 million contract that he's about to be earning this season. There is not a contender in the league who is willing to gut their team, matching contract sizes, to send anybody away from their team that can help them in subsequent years down the line literally compete when LeBron James has rolled off into the sunset, just to get LeBron James there to maybe give you a little bit more to help you win a championship this season. There's not a team that's a contender in the league that can afford to do that. It doesn't even, isn't a market for it. It doesn't make sense. Tell me the team in the comments if you think I'm just shooting them here. It doesn't make sense. Wouldn't make sense for Golden State to do so. The only people that they can move would be who has value will be Jimmy Butler. They can't move Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's 35 years old also, but he has more gas left in the tank than LeBron James. So it doesn't make sense to give Jimmy Butler away and trade, especially when Steph's coming to a close as well. You maximize the years of Jimmy Butler that he has left, in addition to Steph, where they have the same trajectory career-wise. So that doesn't even make sense. Notice they said a handful of teams. They didn't mention the other teams, but they specifically mentioned Golden State because Golden State's always the one that's kicked around and talked about. It's bullshit. I don't believe it. One Western Conference executive chalked it up to an elaborate pout because the Lakers hadn't offered James a new contract extension. This is what LeBron James is prone to do in the media, to be manipulative. He and his agent, through the things that they say or things that they release, statements that they release, people that they scoop to then.
I spoke to Rich Paul, and Rich Paul said,
"This shit ain't working. Shit ain't working this time." Another Western Conference executive felt it was an attempt to pressure the Lakers front office to go all in on building the team this season and away from its strategy to keep the cap sheet clean, or as clean as possible, for the summers of 2026 and 2027 after James's salary comes off the books. Whatever the reason, its impact was immediately. Free agent center Brook Lopez, who league sources said had strongly considered the Lakers and the potential starting role, grew wary of the uncertainty around James's future with the team and opted to sign with the rival LA Clippers, where he will be a backup. This shit is so sticky that that Brook Lopez is like, damn, bro, I really want to be a Laker, but man, this is so weird, man, I don't really want to be a part of it. I'd rather instead go play for the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? The crosstown rivals who used to share the same building. I'd rather go play with them as a backup. As a fucking backup. Than to deal with this shit over here as a starter. That's crazy. That is crazy. That's crazy. Crazy. Back to the article. Before Paul released the statement, he gave a heads up to Doncic and the Lakers. Before Rich Paul even made that dumbass statement, released that dumbass statement via Shams Charania, he reached out to both the Lakers and Luka Doncic. Like,
yo, man, I'm just letting y'all know. I'm about to say some bullshit.
Paul called Seager, with whom he has a relationship, and wanted to extend an olive branch, sources said. Wanted to extend an olive branch is a very interesting choice of words here. Sources said, extend an olive branch. That's a sign of peace. Read your Bible. It's in there. I wanted to extend an olive branch like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Just so you know, we good. I'm about to say what I'm about to say, but we good. He wanted to make it clear James has always appreciated Doncic's admiration for him and knows that Doncic understands the business of the league. That this wasn't a reflection of how James felt about their experience playing together. And Paul suggested that if James eventually made any further moves, he would communicate them. These motherfuckers are fledgling. They are fledgling, bro. They are fighting for their motherfucking life in a shallow pool. Stand up. Stand up. The water ain't even that deep, bro. The water's not that deep. Water's not that deep. I mean, there's no market for LeBron. Stand up. You are splish splashing around right now, making a fool of yourself. You are splish splashing around in a shallow pool, in a kiddie pool, making a fool of yourself. The spin ain't working. The Lakers don't give a fuck. It's crazy to see the antics and the measures that Rich Paul You know what I mean? Or to the length that he's gone to manipulate situations over the years that is not working for the dinosaur. It's a wrap, bro. You have no more leverage. You have over leveraged your situation. It's a wrap, bro. It's a wrap. James understood the Lakers taking advantage of an opportunity to pivot to the younger superstar. But from James's perspective, sources said, nuance was sometimes lost during the transition.
Man, y'all, I mean, damn, I understand y'all, you know, we ain't gonna go on with the young boy, but man, y'all, damn. Y'all, like, I ain't here. Y'all, like, I already retired. Nah, like, I'm not being considered or included in anything. Like, what's up? I've been the dude all this time, man. Y'all can't even come to me and tell me stuff?
Out your feelings, bro. Get out your feelings. It's not you anymore. It's not you anymore, bro. It's a prettier girl in the class now. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You old news. You are old news, brother. Crazy. It's crazy. Doncic had never asked to be a Laker. James, for his part, had chosen LA. Coming into 2018, when the team had missed the playoffs 5 consecutive seasons, the worst run for the franchise since it moved from Minneapolis. 2 years later, James had helped deliver a 17th championship. Feelings, feelings, feelings.
Like, y'all act like I ain't bring a championship here. I deserve more respect than this. I deserve more respect than this. I deserve to be included in y'all. You know what I mean? Like, you don't appreciate what I think you
got paid for what you did. You have gotten paid handsomely for your contribution in LA. It's fairly lackluster, with the exception of the championship. Championship's no small thing. I'm not talking about that. But that's about it. You missed the playoffs a few seasons. You got early exits. Thanks to Darvin Ham, you guys made it, or in part to Darvin Ham, you guys, I mean, at least made it to the Western Conference Finals as a follow-up to the championship in terms of, like, oh, I'm sorry, and he also helped you guys win the inaugural in-season tournament, I guess. You can count that as success, but you haven't done anything else in LA in 7+ seasons, in 7+ years. Nothing else.
don't forget about me. Don't forget what I've done here. I deserve more respect. You know what I'm saying?
Is he right? Maybe. Back to the article. Paul also had to formally inform the Lakers that James intended to pick up the final year of his contract after the team did not engage in any substantial discussions about extending him by a year or two, sources said, as they had done twice previously during James's Lakers tenure. As the team did not engage in any substantial discussions about extending him by a year or two. The team did not engage in any discussions with him. So Rich Paul had to reach out and be like,
Hey, Matt, man, I guess LeBron has decided to pick up, the option because y'all ain't scheduled a meeting to sit down with us and talk about, you know what I'm saying, like doing nothing else. So we just going to pick up the option.
When the Lakers' MO has been,
So, hey, LeBron, come on in, sit down. What can we do for you? How much do you need? Would you be willing to take a pay cut? You would, if we can find somebody else. Let us get Rob on the phone right now. Rob, you call around, see if we can get some other people, and then LeBron will get back to you and we'll let you know how much money is available for you to just take. You know what I mean? Like, or what we can find, and you can decide how much you want and then how much we can pay to somebody else.
not this time. Not this time. The Lakers had already made their statement in not offering James a contract beyond this season. It was abundantly clear that the 21-time All-Stars time as the face of the Lakers had, for the first time, a planned end date, even if James's record-setting NBA career did not yet. LeBron, your time is up. This is so aggressive. This is so aggressive. This is so drastically shockingly, disrespectfully crazy, because it's almost like they're forcing LeBron to retire this season. They're like,
bro, you got 1 year left here with the Lakers. 1 year. This one. We're not interested in talking to you about extending you.
because if they extended him this summer, back to specifics with the numbers, they would have had to do so at super max value. They like,
Nah.
they are not interested in shelling out any more money to LeBron than they are contractually obligated at the present. Your time is up, brother.
So I tell you what you can do. You can enjoy your last season here at the $52.6 million value. And we can explore a future of talks about your future here in LA after next season. So it's like, you're under contract. Let's see how you perform. You better ball out.
LeBron James at 40 years old was third in all NBA, team voting, etc. this season. So he's still playing and making valuable contribution to the team that he's a part of. It may not contribute to winning, but he can still put up some numbers. Yeah, ball out, brother. They're holding his feet to the fire saying,
And ball out. Because, we'll pay you what we owe you, but we ain't paying you no more than that. We want to see how this season goes, bro, and we want to start planning toward the future. A future that you're aging out of. A future that you are aging out of.
remember earlier in the article, an age-appropriate superstar, sources said they want to put around Luka Doncic an age-appropriate superstar. LeBron James is aging out. They know it. Everybody knows it. Your time is up, brother. So you have the option to play this season out. You can announce right now retirement from the league to save face. Give yourself an opportunity to, really on a high note with the $52.6 million, wave goodbye, have every single game and every away stadium made about you, 41 of them this year, where they praise you, where you can put your fake crown on your head. You know what I mean? Where they can say, like give the respect to your 23-year career. It can make your 23rd record-breaking 23rd NBA season really, 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 really mean something. Make it monumentally impactful. Because right now, season 23 is not going to be a storyline. But season 23 being your final year, which I said a few years ago that I think LeBron was going to retire at year 23. And here, 23 is upon us. I thought that it was his actual plan to retire at 23. Not that I was just guessing like, man, he'll play about 23 years. I just thought it made sense because of, Jordan and the number that he wears on his chest and on his back. It just made sense to be like,
I'm be the real 23. I'm retiring 23 out of the 23 season.
But I could be wrong. I think the plan was probably to play with Bryce. And so an extension would have given him the opportunity to play with Bryce, to leverage his celebrity there in LA to be like,
Man, you put one of our sons in the league, put the other one there.
and I said this about Luka Doncic being moved to LA in the power of Anthony Davis being moved to Dallas. Because Rich Paul would have been able to use as a leverage piece Anthony Davis's future with the Lakers as well, presently and in the future, if Anthony Davis was still an LA Laker. Sending Anthony Davis away took away that leverage from Rich Paul, as a dangling carrot to threaten. They'd be like,
Hey, man, you know what I mean? Take care of this player, you know what I mean? This client, and I'll make sure that my other client signs on the dotted lines at the top. Maybe we can renegotiate some things around that and make the money make sense to do whatever.
no more of the slickster, trickster bullshit. It's not working. There's not a play for it anymore. They ain't playing with you anymore. It's crazy. Back to the article. Whether the 2025-26 season is to be James's final season in the NBA is up to him. But if he wanted the kind of Hollywood ending that only the Lakers can give legends of the game, the release date was set. You want that grand send-off? That grand send-off is at the end of next basketball season, if you want it in LA. You want that Kobe final game where he was given a chance, regular season game, to score 60 points. You want that kind of fanfare, those kind of people to show up. You know what I mean? Knowing that, damn, bro, it's LeBron's last one. You want that in LA? You announce retirement this season, or at least make an announcement that year 23 is going to be your final one with the Lakers, to maximize and to capitalize off that to a degree. Spring 2026. That release date was set. Spring 2026. Luka Doncic in, LeBron James out. The Lakers would, of course, celebrate him the way they did Kobe Bryant on his retirement tour back in 2016, if that's what James ultimately decided. But for the first time in his 23-year NBA career, a team had not begged or borrowed against its future to do everything it could to keep James beyond his current contract. First time for everything. This is the first time, again, as I say, man, going back to the fact that there's just no market for him. Like the Lakers can't even if LeBron James was to say, like, okay, trade me. I'll waive my trade, no trade clause, which gives LeBron all the leverage in the situation because he's the one who then decides where he wants to go, right? And so for them to have him pick and choose, that means the team, and it would have to be multiple teams, a multiple team deal at this point because of all the money involved. So it would have to be like literally a 4 or 5 team deal, or maybe something similar to the 7-team trade that we just saw go down to move Kevin Durant. It's going to take that kind of power to make all the money make sense. And so it's going to take some teams to want to give some value to the Lakers and really get nothing back except an aging superstar in LeBron James, who's beyond his prime, who's literally in his last days in the league. And I mean, far off future draft assets. We're talking a 2029 first round pick that they have right now as like a leverage or a bargaining chip. And then all the draft picks before then. And then there's an actual rule in the league that stops teams from going too deep in the future, giving away all their draft picks, or trying to mortgage those, you know what I mean? Like mortgage in the future in that way, because of some GM back in the 80s who just went fucking crazy, giving away draft picks years down the line. So I can't remember his name, but look it up. It was interesting, factoid. So again, all of that to say, man, I just don't think that there's a market for the dude. Nobody wants him. They'll take him for a minimum. So the Lakers buy LeBron James out. What you say? Why the fuck would the Lakers do that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
We're on a hook for the money anyway. Buy him out for what? We won't pay you anyway, bro. Suit up. You're under contract to play, so, I guess we'll take whatever you can contribute this season. But we're not making the season about you in any regard. We have nothing else to leverage.
Again, they want to keep their cap sheet clean, as the article said, for this offseason of 2026 and 2027, because they know that that's a hit. I mean, this free agent market that we're presently in was fucking garbage. It was trash. But the free agent markets coming up are going to be chock full of actual superstars that you can be like,
hey, man, we got $52.6 million off the books because LeBron's gone. Bro, we can toss you 50. That's good. We can toss you more because the salary cap's going to seem to raise. Well, it's at that 52. LeBron's got it. That's the start. Hey, we could stack some on top of that, too. Try and come over here and play for the Lakers.
The Lakers' posture did not come as a surprise to James, sources said. but it also did not go down easily.
Like, I never even gonna do that. But I am, bro.
Since the Doncic trade February 1st, the Lakers have signaled this shift from James to Doncic through a series of microaggressions. Let's get into them. They did not give him significant notice that they were trading Davis for Doncic, a transgression James forgave, sources said, because of his respect for Doncic and understanding of the franchise's reasoning for making the trade and for keeping it under wraps for as long as possible.
They didn't give me significant notice.
They didn't give LeBron significant notice. He's like, man,
And I didn't even tell me. Y'all can get rid of my guy AD. Like, that's kind of fucked up. But I forgive you. I understand. You know what I'm saying? Business is business. Me and Bronny's still here. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. I'll talk to y'all, you know what I mean, about renegotiating his contract soon coming up in a couple months.
it was like, yeah.
Hey, okay, LeBron. We'll see you this summer.
And now the summer's upon us. Another signal. Within days of acquiring Doncic, Pelinka attempted to pair him with Williams, an athletic young center. Davis and James have for 4 years been asking the franchise to acquire a true center to no avail. Man, the microaggressions for the Lakers, them signaling, man, LeBron James' time is up. As soon as Luka get there, they're just like, within days of Luka being there, they're just like,
He is center.
The fuck? Well, the fuck? I mean, I divorced it all this time. Me and AD. And you send AD out of here, and then you bring Luka here, and then some of them, you about to trade for a center? What the fuck? That's exactly what I was asking for.
microaggression number 3. When the Buss family agreed to sell the majority stake in the franchise to Mark Walter on June 18th, Doncic was given a heads up and notably posted a congratulations on social media afterward. After the publication of this article, sources said James was notified of the sale via his representation. But he did not post any public acknowledgement. So Luka was given a heads up.
Hey man, we're selling the team. Here's a new owner.
Let me ask y'all a question. You think Luka's heads up was an actual face-to-face introduction, or at least a phone call with new ownership? I'll bet it was. But it said LeBron James found out through Rich Paul.
Hey, say, man. I just got a phone call saying the Lakers sold the team to Mark Wall, Genie sold the team.
What? Get Jenny on the phone. The fuck is this?
Peep the saltiness shared in this article at that point also. Luka posts a happy congratulatory message. Like, yo, congratulations, yo. LeBron ain't said shit. LeBron ain't said a fucking word. Microaggression number 4. Then, of course, the coup de grace. The Lakers, by not offering James an extension, indicated they were comfortable having him on the roster as an expiring contract.
And we comfortable paying you money, bro, and just have you. You know what I'm saying? We good with that. Raz, you got another year out of us.
A rare position for a superstar player of his caliber. James has responded to this treatment by dropping cryptic hints as to his thinking, which he has done multiple times over his career when he's been frustrated with his current franchise. It's all the passive aggressiveness. Yo, this situation is petty as fuck. They're both being petty as shit. You know, more LeBron than I guess, the Lakers in a sense, or maybe they're equal, but it's just really not. I mean, LeBron not even saying congratulations, man. Hey, man, welcome to the new ownership is crazy. That's just kind of wild. The Lakers didn't even announce that LeBron James, make a big deal of LeBron James accepting his $52.6 million or signing, or opting in rather to that last year of his contract. The Lakers didn't even post anything about it. No press release, No posts on their social media platform. They didn't make a big deal announcing it when it happened a few Sundays back. In fact, that Monday, the following day, which was July the 1st, so much so that Brian Windhorst himself, co-author of this article, said that he had to call league sources, like other executives in the league, to be like,
hey, can you check through your channels and let me know if you see that LeBron James has opted into his contract? Oh, you see he did? Oh, okay, cool, because we haven't heard a peep. Nobody outside of you guys even knows.
LeBron James cryptic hints that he's dropped on social, man. They look like this. After the Lakers were eliminated, James was asked whether having to play against more physical players affected him after the Doncic trade. No comment, James said. I never say that because my guy AD said what he needed and he was gone the following week. James was referring to an interview Davis gave to Dave McMenamin on ESPN, requesting the Lakers trade for a center shortly before he was traded away. The cryptic thing LeBron just dropped in his little space of hissy fit after picking up his player option and issuing the statement that sent the NBA offseason ablaze with speculation. James fanned the flames with a series of social media posts that referenced his time with his hometown Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland don't want you, bro. Not at this $52.6 million. They might entertain you for the veteran minimum, but they don't even really want you in the way. They respect that that's your hometown and all that shit, but they don't want you coming in there fucking up with them young boys are doing out there. Get out the way, old man. Go home, Roger. On July 4th, he reposted a photo of Lakers team broadcaster Allie Clifton wearing a Cavaliers jersey with the comment, proper attire. Clifton is from Cleveland and used to work for the Cavs when James was there from 2014 to 2018. 2 days earlier, he had posted a video of himself playing golf in Cleveland wearing a hat that said, "Welcome home." Officially, the explanation is that James wore that hat to support his friend Paul Rivera, the co-creator of James's show The Shop, who recently launched a new media company called Homecoming. Unofficially, the explanation is different. Nothing LeBron does is a coincidence, said one source who knows him well. One source that I know who knows him well is co-author of this article, Brian Windhorst, who always says,
well, I know about Bron very well.
Whenever he speaks about LeBron. So much so that it rubbed LeBron James the wrong way. And during his interview with Pat McAfee, like,
This cat Brown Windhorst, like he's my best friend and some shit. You know what I'm saying? But weirdo. He's weird.
nothing LeBron does is a coincidence, said one source who knows him well. Though a clear strategy or plan for the final chapter of his career has yet to be publicly presented, James's history of plotting contract structures and opening options to move teams years in advance suggests he does not do anything without a larger plan. Those little wheels are spinning right now. I think the gerbil is exhausted and they got the fuck off that little hamster wheel. Man, they chilling in a corner somewhere sipping on their little sippy bottle. Maybe taking a nap. There is nothing else to do, bro. You can't spin this in any other way. It is a wrap. It is a wrap. Though a clear strategy or plan for the final chapter of his career has yet to be publicly presented, James's history of plotting contract structures and opening options to move, teams years in advance. I already read that. James doesn't do anything with a larger plan. This week has been filled with anniversaries of those previously executed grand departures. Tuesday was a 15-year anniversary of his decision to leave the Cavaliers and join the Miami Heat. Wednesday marked 11 years since he explained his decision to return with a Sports Illustrated cover. Between 2014 and 2018, James signed 4 contracts with 3 different designs, each with a distinct objective to maximize money, leverage, and optionality. telling you this man has leveraged his way out of LA. But much like Doncic, whose plan to play his entire career in Dallas was suddenly and shockingly altered by the trade in February, James's plans have been upended too. James has never been in a situation like this. As much as any player in NBA history, he's been in control of his destiny by exercising a blend of foresight and unprecedented power. You've always moved like the smartest motherfucker in the room. As they say, LeBron helped to usher in the player empowerment era. You got Chris Paul as president of the NBA Players Association. I believe CJ McCollum slid in right after that. Let's make sure, man, we can get as much money as we can. I'm all for the players getting their money. Obviously, the TV rights deals have gone up. The NBA just signed an incredibly lucrative and massive multi-billion-dollar TV rights deal. Some of that money is split or shared, profit shared wise, with the players. And so all those kinds of things, you know what I mean, have been having this unprecedented power that LeBron James has exerted, this foresight that he's had to be like,
again, let's do this. Oh, then look, the money, you know what I mean, works like this. Let's manipulate the money man within the rules to get all of us there contractually so we can just create a super team that's not really a super team. But let's do this, let's do that.
Interestingly enough, those who have benefited the most contractually from the moves and the player empowerment, as I record this video, Chris Paul, an astronomical contract and amount of dollars left on his this final year for him too, as LeBron does. Russell Westbrook. I'm just saying those three specifically, I know, who have huge amounts of money, have no, or rather, Paul and Westbrook have no home right now. They're unsigned free agents here in the league. And the situation for LeBron doesn't look all that much better. You know what I'm saying? In summation here of this article, now, near the end, there's been a plot twist that even he didn't see coming. Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha. Yo, it's crazy. This whole situation is crazy. As I was saying before, man, I went in a previous episode about how the full statement once given by Rich Paul didn't make sense and it was a contradiction. So what I want to do is I want to revisit that statement that was released through Shams Charania from Rich Paul on ESPN, and then I'm going to come back and give some insights about it. But LeBron wants to compete for a championship. He knows the Lakers are building for the future. He understands that, but he values a realistic chance of winning it all. We are very appreciative of the partnership that we've had for 8 years with Jeannie and Rob, and consider the Lakers as a critical part of his career. Let me just say that these 8 years are the longest that LeBron has ever played for any team in his entire 23-year career. This 8 years is the longest amount of time that he's been under contract consecutively with any team. Spent his first 7 in Cleveland before bouncing around ever since. Do the math on your own. The rest of the statement. We understand the difficulty in winning now while preparing for the future. We do want to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage in his life and career. He wants to make every season he has left count, and the Lakers understand that, are supportive, and want what's best for him. Yeah. So, yeah. So I was saying before, man, that I wanted to, and saying that because when I read that statement initially, I commented on it in the video about the Lakers being in panic mode. It's an episode on my channel. You can look for it. I was saying that statement about LeBron wanting to uh, compete for a championship was a contradiction of action. And because if he wanted to compete and was serious about competing for a championship, then it would have just stood to reason. And I'm not saying don't get your money, but I'm saying it stands to reason that you can't make all the money at the top of the cap and not leave anything at the bottom and expect them to be able to add something to the bottom of the money. And so, I just kind of went in about it, but I have to apologize because, man, given this information and given the reality of the information being shared, the Lakers hadn't. It was the Lakers who didn't even give him an option or an opportunity. They didn't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They didn't. They don't. They don't care to do business with LeBron James beyond this season. It is clear. They do not care to do business with LeBron beyond this season. It is clear. His time is up. Bronny's time is up. LeBron and Bronny need to find a new team to play for. Your time is up. Because certainly LeBron ain't leaving. I mean, that's just like the conundrum that he's up against. Because it's like he has to be kind of sensitive about how he moves here. And there's some sensitivity that needs to be had, I feel like, on both sides of the fence here. On both sides of the table, the negotiating table, on both sides of public perception, there's some sensitivity that needs to be exercised on both sides here. Because for LeBron, it's like, man, I can't just, like, guard aggressively. I can't be too petty and I'm holding out. I'm doing this. I'm not going to show up. Or I'm going to show up and be, like, whatever, kind of mediocre. That damages my legacy. I don't want the end of my career to be tarnished with that kind of a thing. It's not a good look for me trying to go to another team. If I stay here disgruntled and I start acting out and there's these rumors about me being disgruntled as a distraction, it's not going to really entice other teams to take a shot on me here at the end of my career. Can't do that. Doing that would also mean they're just like, you know what I'm saying? Like the fuck we keeping your kid around for? Anyway, we gotta get rid of this motherfucker. We'll go ahead and buy him out. We'll buy his little monkey ass out right now. Free some money up to add to the snowball in with the rest of this little bit of money we got down here. And we can bring in somebody else who's way more valuable that can help us right now. That can help us right now because we're not keeping LeBum's son anyway. The kid's not going to add anything to this team beyond this contract right here. He ain't ready for that level. He's just not. So he can't do that. Anywhere else that he goes, they got to package in Bronny too because he wants Bronny. You know what I mean? Like, obviously wants to protect Bronny's career now at this point. Bronny hasn't proven himself yet as a player that teams want to take a shot on. We're watching better players get the axe in the league. We're watching far better players who have more to offer. Maybe not all the youth and, you know what I mean? Like being so young that Bron, but potential. There's plenty of young players with potential. You don't have to risk that on a Bronny James that ain't showing you nothing. Shot is not any more consistent. You know what I mean? Like what's going on here? So anyway, sensitivity needs to be exercised in that regard. From the Lakers side of the sensitivity that needs to be exercised, the Lakers have to be careful in how they are moving as it pertains to this situation, because how they navigate the situation and handle the situation is being also looked at by future star players who may want to sign with the Lakers. They're kind of watching like, man, I don't know, bro. They kind of dog Bron at the end. This new ownership group was kind of ruthless. I mean, I get that the business is business and business is sometimes cutthroat, but goddamn, they cut that man's throat in front of the world. They cut his throat on national television. The massacre was televised. And so they have to be very careful in how they are operating and functioning here moving forward, man. A whole lot that I wanted to share on that situation. It is apparent and it is clear that the Lakers are done with LeBron. The LA Lakers waving LeByeBye to a guy whose antics have have been annoying, you know, to a degree. A guy who has manipulated every instance of, you know what I mean, like his career, or manipulated in many instances throughout his career, his situation and kind of how things have played out, and gutting teams and having teams make all these moves. And you know what I mean? Like, for what it's worth, in 23 seasons, to have that only amount to 4 championships is, by all intents and accounts, from my perspective, a fail. I think that if you can leverage the opportunity or your celebrity for an opportunity to play on any team that you want and with whomever you want, man, you damn sure better be winning it every time. Going to the championship ain't the same as winning it. You know what I'm saying? So I know that a lot of people like to hold on to this. We won 8 straight final runs and went to the final 10 times. And I'm like, yeah, that ratio is not positive, bro. You know what I mean? 4 to 6 as a ratio is not positive. It's not. Hard to win it all. And that ratio is literally all the evidence that you need to suggest that what I'm saying is true. It's harder to win it, easier to lose it. And that's why his ratio is tipped out of balance. Hard to win an NBA championship. It's hard to win a championship, period, but especially harder to win it in the NBA because you have to be dominant in a 7-game series. You have to dominate the other team to best them in 7 by winning 4. And so again, LeBron James's antics, I think his welcome, he's worn out. I want to point back to his behavior after AD was traded, was right there before the All-Star break, and then the All-Star game, LeBron James decides to come out and to let the league know during a press conference. So just like moments before the, you know, or hour or so before the game, hour and a half or so before the game, maybe 2, that he wouldn't be participating in the game. And I think the league took that as a slap in the face. And so I wouldn't be surprised, as I talk about there not being a market for LeBron, I wouldn't be surprised if nobody, I mean, like they were literally almost forcing LeBron to retire in this space and time, making it very difficult for him to, I'm going to say almost like blacklisting him, which could, I know, sound like incredibly bizarre, but I think that, you know, executives in the league and ownership groups, et cetera, it's like, yeah, I mean, we get LeBron in, like we could sell some tickets, like you sure could, but is it worth it for all the bullshit? Is it worth it at this age? What can he really add in terms of value? You know, you have to put up with this kind of, just foolery. Let's call it buffoonery. But is it worth it? Is the ultimate question. Like, is it really worth it? And the Lakers are certainly showing that it is not. Lakers are certainly showing that it's not. It's worth them to give up this money for this last deal and then to wash their hands with the Joker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go. And so that's been the basis of this episode. I just wanted to share my insights on the LA Lakers waving LeByeBye to the James, and for all intents and purposes, the James family, to getting out of bed with LeBron James, to severing ties with LeBron James, to definitively, you know, putting a bow on his time and tenure in LA. LA Laker Nation, LA Laker fans, I was going to say, and Laker Nation, stand up, man. You guys are getting your team back. You know, your team is being snatched from the fell clutches of one LeBron James and his evil empire that he has exerted upon your franchise, man. I'm excited to see how this plays out the rest of the way. Again, if you haven't liked this video, do me a favor, like the video on the way out. Subscribe to the channel also, and I will catch you in the next episode. Comment your opinions below. I'll catch you guys in the comment section. Moreover, I'll catch you in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself. Blessings.